Hey.
You want to watch it? It's like I don't understand why I can't find the meeting. And I guess you started already. That's why.
How are you doing?
I'm
Are we starting yet? No, we still have a minute.
No, I got to start. Give me a minute.
Okay. Cindy may be listening, so let's not talk shit that she didn't.
Guess what you just did?
No.
Hold on.
I'm kidding. The storm is really bad. Oh, let me turn off my AC.
Welcome to A Night in the Asylum. It's Tuesday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. As if you didn't know. Time for Talk Tech and Tequila with Darren and Jen. Call in live or leave a message at 855-366-9653 or email dilbert@asylum.radio. It's time to take refuge with your friends. Your cocktail and cream puff.
Just in the nick of time. Why? What did you do now? What happened?
I still haven't figured out why when I try and play the little video intro, it constantly plays the audio, and even when I have it turned off, I don't understand.
I hear the audio. Are we not supposed to hear it?
Well, I was hearing both from the video and from the player on my Rodecaster board, but never mind.
I hear it only one time, so that's all
maybe my head is hearing
you're hearing things.
Jennifer, what day is it?
It's August 10th, 2020.
August 10th. We were not here last week because
I don't remember why. I don't remember
Sometimes
why.
Jennifer and I can't get here because we both work full-time jobs. We're both very demanding jobs, right, Jennifer?
Always. So it's needy. Everyone is so needy.
We try our best to get here every week, and unfortunately, it just doesn't happen all the time. So I'm sorry if we missed last week. But here we are today.
But we're back, and it is another stormy Tuesday.
Yes, so hopefully Jen's power doesn't lose or go out, because mine did like 2 weeks ago when we were on air. But it only lasted a second, and my batteries held out.
That's good. I'm nervous, but I'll definitely get disconnected because my internet doesn't have a backup anything.
So Jennifer, our topics tonight are the COVID scare you had.
Yes.
And I have a new COVID scare at work.
Yep.
Van Gogh, Mario Cuomo, and Dominion voting systems.
Oh my.
Oh my. That's exactly what I called the title, with an oh my.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's a lot. But I guess I'll start with the COVID scare.
Yes. Tell us what happened.
So I think I told you. No, I'm just kidding. It's horrible to joke about it. But a few weeks ago, Manuel and I went and got our first COVID test, but not because we had symptoms. I forget why.
You were traveling out of the country or something.
Oh, that's what it was. I was like, I forgot why we were doing it. We had to get a negative test to travel to Mexico, right?
Speaking of which, where did you get that done? Because I'm going to have to get the same thing done. And yet you have to do it within like 2 or 3 days. Yeah.
So I went to the same place during actual COVID scare, but it's like a same day clinic. It's called Same Day Health is the name of the clinic that I went to in Montclair.
City or something? Oh, Montclair.
No, it was in Montclair. And I think they have multiple locations. It's let's see, where do they have in their locations? Yeah, but I would just do
what is it again? Say it again. Same
day health, all one word.com. I'm trying to see where their locations
Because the reason I ask is because I know that NCL, they won their case in Florida, or they didn't win it, actually. A judge put a stay on the governor's ruling stating that NCL and other cruise lines could not require vaccinations. So the judge said they can require vaccinations until it goes to court. So now the cruise lines departing from Florida against the governor's wishes can now require, again, having proof of vaccinations,
which is interesting.
We know it can be a scam too, but right now it's just a piece of paper from the CDC. And Holland America, which I'm supposed to take in December, I noticed that they require, as NCL does, a COVID test. I think it's 3 days or less before departure, but they have a note that it has to be medically supervised. It's like, are you for real?
What does that mean?
I'm assuming they mean they want me to go to my doctor and get it. It's like, my doctor doesn't even do it.
Yeah, there are enough clinics. I mean, this one, a nurse or some type of medical professional was the one that did the nasal swabbing stuff, but it wasn't like in a hospital or any kind of medical setting.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
So anyway, tell us what happened.
But anyway, it's speaking of that COVID test before that. So we took that test. That was the first time. It took about a day and a half or 2 days, but they said it can take up to 3 days because that's the free version versus paying like $150 and getting it same day.
Okay.
And we had the time, so we were like, cool. Fast forward last week last week was pretty busy. Tuesday, Wednesday, we went to like an event in where is it? I'm forgetting all the things. Oh my God, what is the name of the
dementia, like my father?
I may have COVID. Doesn't it sound like
it does have brain
issues? Oh my God. Asbury Park, somewhere around there. We went to Asbury Park, and we're part of a magazine that it was doing their first like in-person event after 18 months of no events, and it was on this beautiful rooftop in Asbury Park. And this is where we got into contact with someone who was around another person that had tested positive.
How did you know they were in contact with somebody?
They told us. I got a text.
Recently. Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
I thought maybe you were using one of those phone apps.
No.
Your phone told you.
Oh, that would have been even weirder.
Yeah.
But it was like, so that happened. I didn't find out until like 2 or 3 days later. I got the text, and it was really crappy timing because there was going to be this amazing birthday party for a friend of ours that is in the town. And it was like the same day of the birthday party, I get a text from the guy like, hey, just want to let you know I was in contact with, it was actually his cousin that had COVID. You may want to like go get tested.
No.
I was like, oh, dude. So I didn't go to a birthday party. I really wanted to go. And Manuel and I are like, well, we feel fine. And we were like, well, it's more responsible if we don't go and get tested on Sunday, the next day. And then we got our results back and it was negative, which is great. But now if you see, I have like a runny nose. I don't know if it's like psychological or what is going on.
And you know, when the last wave of COVID, a runny nose and sneezing were not some of the symptoms, but in the Delta version, it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know about
people, not everybody.
I don't have a cough or fever or anything.
It's sort of like allergy symptoms that some people are getting. It's so they confuse that they might be getting their allergies when it might be actually COVID symptoms.
Yeah, and the weird thing is like, I don't know how long after you've been potentially exposed you would show up as positive. If it's like,
I think you're supposed to. I think it might take 3 to 7 days or something like that.
So I might get tested again, like just out of
you probably should
safety. Also, so there was that event that I was indirectly exposed. Then I went to the Lady Gaga and Tony Bennett like farewell concert in the city.
Really?
Did you hear about
I didn't know
this?
they were doing that.
Yeah, it was I didn't know they were doing it either.
Did you have to wear a mask or not?
This was the thing. So we stood in line and we brought our masks because we knew New York is kind of starting to become a little more. Right. Yeah. And we stood in line and they actually asked us for our vaccination cards, which they didn't tell us in any of the paperwork. Hey, you're going to be asked to prove your vaccination status.
And I always carry a copy of mine in my wallet.
That's great. Well, I had a photo of mine, which they looked at and accepted.
Okay.
But it's kind of a joke because they just looked at the photo. They didn't look at my ID to see if that was actually me. I just could have shown any random vaccination
And you know how easy
card.
it is to fake those cards. You can get a download a copy somewhere and print it, and you have a COVID vaccination card.
Download it, print it, fill it in by hand, and then.
Which is why they're trying to get the government to create some kind of a digital verification system. And I read an article recently that the closest company to it is the same company that you use for getting through the airports quicker.
Clear. Yeah.
They have an application that is probably the most popular for digital confirmation of your COVID test.
I think we're in a digital world. Having to keep track of a stupid piece of paper is pretty silly to me.
Yeah.
Like just put something in the driver's license, or I don't know, something digital that you can just show. Put it on your passport app or something, the United app that you're vaccinated.
I don't have a passport app. Is there such a thing? I mean,
there's
for the U.S. passport?
No, there's
I think you got brain fog, Jen.
Global entry. There's global entry app that you can use.
A passport.
Yeah. But they're thinking of having a vaccine passport. Come on. They're talking about it.
I'm worried about you now, Jen.
Anyway, I am sniffly. I don't know if it's COVID or if it's the lightning that's causing allergies, but whatever. It's a thing. And so I went to the Lady Gaga, Tony Bennett concert. It was great, by the way. It was weird because
had I known that was happening, I would have gone somehow too.
You know who was there?
Lady Gaga Clinton. And Tony Bennett.
And Bill Clinton was there.
Really?
And Hillary Clinton and Chelsea all came. But the funny thing is,
of course, they weren't standing in line. They got to cut in front of you and get in.
Well, this was the other part. It's the show start. The show's supposed to start at 8. The website says arrive 2 hours early. I told my friend I am not arriving 2 hours early to a concert to just like sit in the lobby because they don't open the doors or anything, to like sit in the vestibule for 2 hours
or outside standing in the line is
overspend money, like $12 for a 2 ounce of crappy tequila. I'm like, no, I'm not.
Bring my own tequila bottle.
I can't do it.
Aldez tequila.
That's right. Aldez and Oxy. I'll just put them in my purse. And so we arrived like 45 minutes early, plenty of time. Got in, we went through metal detectors, and this is the first concert that they don't let you keep your cell phone. And I was a little bit worried, confused about the logistics of what that meant, that I don't get to have my cell phone.
So they took your cell phone from you?
Well,
I
thought
they going to guarantee that you get it back?
Right. I was imagining when they said you're not allowed to have your phone, we're going to have a place for you to store your phone, that the thousands of people that are there, everybody has to put their cell phone in like a little locker, right?
Yeah.
This is what I was imagining. I don't know.
No, it's called an office that they're collecting and putting a label on it.
No, not even that. So we're both wrong. What happened is after they go through your purse and you go through the metal detector, there's like a little, those pouches that you put beer in, the koozies?
Yeah.
Koozie, whatever they're called. I think that's what they're called. It's like a vat for your phone, and you slide your phone in, and then it has this magnetic snap on the top that locks, and then your phone is locked inside this koozie thing.
Okay. And
the only way to release it is like in the department stores, those little magnetic things that they put it on to get rid of sensors. It's like that kind of device opens it up, and you can pull your phone out. And during the show, you hold your phone in this huge bag, which is kind of inconvenient because then it couldn't fit in my purse. They have phone zones. If you must like take your phone out or take a photo, there are certain spots outside of the venue that you can go and look at your phone. You have to put it back in before you exit the roped off area. And then you go to the concert.
Huh,
So
I've never heard of that.
it was the first time ever. I've been to many concerts. I was like, how are they going to prevent people from taking like their phones? And there was even the iPhone watches, I guess, because you can record audio through that. So they were taking the watches and the phones.
What about the Google Glass, or what do they call it, with the video camera and the glasses?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe those people got away with it.
They probably did.
But the concert was great.
You can't take my glasses. I can't see the concert.
I can't see. I have to see it.
I guess it was Tony Bennett's farewell.
It was. Most of the show was Lady Gaga. It started Lady Gaga, and then Tony Bennett like solos, and then they did the third piece together. There was no intermission.
How long was the show?
90 minutes. But
okay,
going back to Bill Clinton, we were supposed to start at 8. We got there, like I said, like 45 minutes or so early, got in. The show didn't start till almost 9. So imagine if we showed up 2 hours early.
Right.
I would have been like livid and broke drinking all expensive tequila. And the reason they started late is they were waiting for Bill Clinton. I think this is
So
my
he
to
and
come
his
in.
family inconvenienced how many thousands of people?
Thousands of people. The whole
What
it was a
theater
sold out
was it at?
concert. Radio City.
Wow, I didn't know anything about this.
Yeah, it was really, really good. And Tony Bennett sings like amazing. His voice was clear, crisp. He was like nonstop the whole time.
Wow, Pat would have loved to go on to that too. You know, one of our favorite commercials is Tony Bennett and Lady Gaga together. I don't remember what they were advertising, but
really,
yeah, look it up on YouTube. There's a commercial where they're both in.
And she was dressed like really beautiful, and it was very like jazz kind of music, not like Lady Gaga music.
Wait, what day was this?
Last Wednesday or Thursday? I think Thursday.
So maybe that's where you picked up COVID.
No, because I got the text from the Wednesday thing. Or
But it could have been at the concert.
Yeah,
too.
it could have been. Who knows?
I mean, that's probably even more likely. But
I think the people in the concert that didn't have their vaccination card had to wear their masks because there were some people.
Right.
But I don't know. But the guys in that.
And out of a sold out concert at Radio City Music Hall, which probably holds, I don't know how many thousand people, how many of those people do you think had a fake vaccination card? So they're breathing their Delta variant all over that hall, and it's just spreading to everybody. What a super spreader event that was, Jen. That was so irresponsible of you to go to that event. But I would have been there too, Jen.
It was like,
you
it was
told
amazing.
me, I would have gone. Oh my
You know,
God.
the reason I went is because he's 94 years old. It's his last concert that he's doing. And the last time, well, it was 2 nights, like Wednesday, Thursday or something. And I'm not sure if they're going to do other towns, but I think that's it for New York.
Look this up.
Yeah, really good. And the last time I was about to go see Michael Jackson before he was going to go on tour. And obviously he died.
God. We were on his comeback tour.
Yes, the comeback
which was with his Jackson 5. This is before he died. This is like, I don't know, 7 years before that. And it was in Madison Square Garden, I think. Yes. And Pat, I got tickets. I spent $450 per ticket or something like that for both Pat and I to go because we wanted to see this comeback.
Yes.
And we waited at least 2.5 hours after the start time for him to come, for his family to come out and start the show. It was ludicrous.
Did it start?
It started, but it was like 2.5 to 3 hours.
No apologies or explanation or
nothing.
anything?
No.
Wow.
I think I mentioned this before because Whitney Houston was there too. And you could tell that she was strung out.
Oh, so maybe they were like trying to like wake her up and
I don't know what was going on. Maybe
wow.
Who was
Or maybe
president then?
wake up
maybe Bill
Michael.
Clinton was there. Yeah, Michael needed his shot in his heart and he wasn't getting it or something.
Oh my God. But anyways, I didn't want to regret not seeing Tony Bennett. And I like jazz. I'm not like a huge jazz expert or anything, but I enjoy jazz and it was worth it. Great seats. There was a really hilarious woman that I met when we were exiting because my friend that was with me needed to go use the restroom. So I was like, give me your phone pouch. I'll go stand in the line to free the phone and I'll meet you outside. And I go outside and there's a woman there. She came by herself. She was in her late 60s. She came to see Tony Bennett. She could care less about Lady Gaga. And she was like, I just don't like Lady Gaga. She was trying to be too much like Liza Minnelli, which was kind of true. The way she was like moving and dancing was very Liza Minnelli like, but it was very good. If you see tickets,
says he turned 95 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
And he still sounds good.
He sounds good. He remembered all the lyrics, all of the things.
We went to Kenny Rogers' concert that he gave maybe 3 years ago on his farewell tour or something.
Mm-hmm.
And then he recently died, but he could hardly get air out through his lungs.
Wow.
So I don't know what lung issues he has, but he just did not sound good because he couldn't push the air out. I mean, you could tell it was Kenny, but it just didn't sound like, from
it's like the same day as the Tony Bennett Lady Gaga concert was Guns N' Roses also in Jersey. And I don't know if you know this, but Manuel is a hardcore Guns N' Roses fan, which is surprising, right? It's kind of random.
I know the name of it, but I can't even think of what they say.
Hair and Pour Some Sugar on Me. I mean, all kinds of songs. Manuel could tell you, I don't know. But they don't sound the same. But I think it's because their music is a lot of like screaming and a lot of drugs and whatever they did, like really messed up their voice.
Wow. Tony Bennett has a dementia diagnosis also. I'm just looking at
Yes. Yeah, that was the thing that we were talking about is they said that he has dementia. I don't know how bad it is or what stage, but he's been singing all his life. And that's what was so surprising is every song, every beat, he got it. That's was just like on point.
My dad, who has dementia, they remember things in the past, especially early in dementia. They remember everything in the past, like old songs you've just sung your whole life. Mm-hmm. It's just that they have a shorter and shorter memory for things that just happened.
Yeah. So what I did notice is walking off stage. It was almost like he wasn't exactly sure where to go, or maybe he just has mobility issues because the man's 95 years old. So like Lady Gaga had to kind of escort him very slowly off the stage after they performed. But when he was up there singing, he didn't move. He was kind of like leaning on the piano the whole time, but he was amazing.
That's great that she helped him to have that opportunity. Yeah.
Well, she said that he is her mentor. Like they've been kind of friends for a very long time.
You could see that in the commercial. Like that's such an unusual pairing, but I could see how somebody like her would have such respect for somebody who's been around that long and had such a career.
Yeah. And she's very talented. Like
he's a true gentleman,
Yeah. He's a gentleman. Her voice is obviously phenomenal and she's very entertaining. So I think he's like a dad figure to her, looking out for her. And
I hope Hollywood. That they recorded it. I'm looking for are they doing this other places? And
they recorded it. They said in the beginning of it, they said this is going to be a recorded thing. So I'm sure it's going to be on Netflix or something. Yeah. I may even be on it. We saw the camera come right to our face in one part.
Why don't you tell me about these things?
I didn't know you like concerts
about this.
You wouldn't have gone anyway. You would be scared. It was a spreader. Would you really?
No, we went to go see the last one I told you with Elton John. His what do they call it? Goodbye Yellow Brick Road tour.
Yes.
And I spent $600 or $500 per ticket for Pat and I to be on the floor, row 20.
Wow. The tickets. So have you been to Radio City before?
Yeah, for the Rockettes or something.
So we were on the front row, second to the front row on the mezzanine, first mezzanine, which kind of overhangs. I thought it was great seats, but usually in concerts you have cameras that project onto the TV or something so you can see the faces.
Right. Yeah.
They didn't have that because I think they were recording. So it would have been, I don't know, but that was the only disappointing thing.
Huh. I've seen that in concerts before. That shouldn't have been.
Yeah. Where
That's kind of strange.
So you can kind of see a zoom in of each of them or something on the TV.
It says here's a CNN opinion report. Lady Gaga performs with Tony Bennett during her jazz and piano. She gave the world and me a powerful gift because of what she did for Tony Bennett.
Yeah, it was really, really, really touching and sweet. The woman that I was talking to had floor seats like front and center. And she was like, aside from not necessarily liking Lady Gaga, there was one dress that she was wearing that was really provocative because the slit basically went up to her belly button. So there was no and
slit went up to her belly button.
Not that high, but it was might as well have been. And she was like, she should have just like kept her legs closed. It was too much. You could
Lady
see everything.
Gaga's very talented. She has a great voice as opposed to Madonna doesn't have the greatest voice, but she's a good entertainer.
Yeah. Madonna's another one that I was hoping to see, but I hear she's kind of like wacky now. So I don't know if she's doing concerts.
Yeah, she's been wacky for a while.
So the last thing about the concert, and we can move on to the next thing, is where Bill Clinton was sitting was kind of weird because
was he sitting in the booth that Lincoln was shot? Oh wait, that's the theater. Speaking of which, we saw A Christmas Carol at the Ford's Theater.
Oh, you did?
In Washington D.C. Yeah, it was a good show.
Yeah,
and they still roped that booth off. They don't let anybody sit there.
Ever?
Nope.
It's haunted, maybe.
Probably.
So
I think Lincoln kissed me on my back, my neck when I was there.
You got chills.
I did. It might have been his tongue.
No. God, you're so bad. Bill Clinton was sitting after he
did they boo him?
They actually, everyone stood up and cheered for him.
Really?
He showed up 45 minutes late.
Did they cheer for him or for his wife that everybody hates?
I think for him, because I think it was like,
yeah,
Mr. President. And then even Lady Gaga was like, Mr. President, blah, blah, blah. But where he was sitting was not where I would expect a former president to be.
Right.
There were seats on the stage, like 8 little circular tables that people were sitting on behind the piano. He wasn't sitting there.
Okay. I was going to say, was it behind Bulletproof Glass?
No. And then there's, the orchestra section. Yeah. They had turned that into some larger kind of tables that sat 4 to 6 before you got to the seats. He wasn't sitting there. He was actually sitting to the left of the stage, not the very left, but left side of center stage. 2 or 3 people in.
Easier to get out.
Yeah, that's what somebody told me is like, that's a strategic place because he was actually right next to an exit door. So it wasn't a great seat, but that's where he was sitting.
Yeah.
And he came in with like an entourage of like 15 people when he sat down.
For a Hillary Clinton for president fundraising event that was held at, it was a theater in New Brunswick. I can't remember. It's the State Theater. I think it was like, I don't know, $150, $200 a ticket or something. And she was supposed to speak. And she didn't show up.
What? She was a no-show?
She was a no-show, but she sent Bill Clinton. And he was
that's
much
better.
More interesting.
That's an upgrade.
We were very happy to see him. We were like, we're fine with him.
I feel like she knew that that's an upgrade. She's like, they won't complain.
Exactly.
I'm sending Bill.
Well.
So that was the concert. I'm sorry you missed it. I didn't know you were a fan, but it was sold out anyway. So you wouldn't have gotten to get in. The guys were fabulous. There was all spectrum of dress from like, I just got off work to I just got done pulling weeds out of my yard to glittery, sparkly gowns. And the people that were dressed the best were the gay guys. Really? They were like insane how they
I would
were
have never
dressing.
even thought about like dressing with a tuxedo or something.
No, there were some people in tuxedos. There was a lot of sparkly
jeans. Somebody guys want us there.
I got a little dressed up because it was like, his last thing. It's jazz, so it's a little more classy, but
that is nice. See, you would have had to tell me that, Darren.
Otherwise you would have gone in jeans. Just
exactly
nice.
Darren,
Make
just
it a
dress
night.
nice. Right.
Yeah. How would Tony want you to dress?
I would have said, I'm not going unless I'm in jeans. No, he would have dressed up for that. God, Jen, you made me sad.
Tell him to wear jeans under his slacks.
Yeah.
So that's my story. So either I got COVID or not. I didn't, but from the Wednesday event or the Thursday concert, which prevented me to go to the Saturday party.
I knew you just told me this, but did you brought your masks? Did you wear it or didn't you?
At the concert? No.
Yeah.
We brought it in case they made us, but it wasn't mandatory.
How many people were wearing masks if you had to guess?
I would say less than 20%.
Gee, I probably would have been wearing a mask because that's a huge cluster of people.
It was a huge, I don't know if you can, let me see if I can, you're going to get like an anxiety attack. But it was like,
the number of people in.
A lot of people. Let's see.
At Radio City.
Yeah, no, it was a lot of people. Oh, here it is. Take a look at this. This was from I don't know if you can see that. You see this?
She showed me a picture of the audience and everybody looks blurry.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, just in this picture, it's hundreds of people and I don't see anybody with a mask for reference. So,
okay. Number of seats at Radio City Music Hall. Take a guess.
On 800.
Normal
800.
Capacity. 800?
I don't know. Is that not enough?
6,015.
6,000.
That's the capacity of Radio City Music Hall. Wow. Jen, you were at a super spreader event.
It was a lot of people. I'm glad I didn't go to the party then. I would have felt so bad if I went and then I was like sick.
But you know what? You're vaccinated. Even if you get COVID, you're likely not gonna die of it. Although I was surprised to read that. I don't know if I was reading fake news or not. Because at first I read an article, I think a week ago, that something like only 116 people that are breakthroughs that were vaccinated with both shots and got COVID recently have died. But then I was reading a different article yesterday that 4,000 have died. And I'm like, what? That can't be right. That's got to be fake news.
That sounds like, I don't know. I didn't read that. So that's a good segue into your breakthrough story or whatever that was.
So my breakthrough story is, I have been at my company. I was only at home 1 month. I think it was the month of April, because I had went to Illinois for the company in March. And then things were getting bad and they allowed people to work from home. But then my boss said the IT guys had to come back in May. Because he wanted us all there, even though most of the company wasn't at home or was still at home.
Was at home, yeah.
Yeah. So we've been there since May, and there were probably at least 6 people in my office on my floor that have had COVID, and some people I work directly with.
Whoa.
They used to stand right at my desk and talk to me, sometimes without a mask, usually with a mask. And they didn't realize that they had COVID at the time, but they did when they were talking to me. And, I was vaccinated in November because it was part of the Pfizer study. So
November of 2020.
2020. Right. Oh, yeah. So they might have been talking to me after I was vaccinated, because that's when it was getting really bad. And that vaccination probably kept me from getting sick. Yeah. Yeah. But now with the Delta variant, it's not as easy to protect yourself, even if you're vaccinated. But most people that are vaccinated are not getting COVID. Something like 97% of people that are going to hospitals and getting COVID are not
unvaccinated.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that Moderna, the last I read, Moderna, which is the vaccine I got, is still 93% effective 6 months after you get the second dose.
So
which is good.
The woman that I work with, she was vaccinated with Moderna probably, um, I would like to say 3 months ago. She had her
Oh,
second shot, and she called out sick yesterday. She went home before I got there because she came into work, and then told somebody that I really feel sick. I've got a fever, or she felt like she had fever,
oh
aches
dear.
and pains.
And she
That
went
she
into the
had,
office because
yeah, and
I'm sure she woke up feeling like,
and then she said she had like what she thought was allergies. So she thought she should probably go home. And we do have a thermometer tester in the building that you have to take, or you're supposed to take when you come in. So if you're above like 99.9 or something, it will
I
tell
thought it
you
was
you can't come in.
101. It's
I
99.
don't know what it is.
Oh,
They're all adjustable based on what the company wants to do. And
I
I
see.
don't recall what ours is off the top of my head. So she went home, and then she texted me today. She said she's feeling about the same, but she feels that she might have it. She might be a breakthrough case. So she's getting a test tomorrow that will take 2 days to get the results or something, 3 days maybe.
Yeah. They say up to 3 days, but the 2 times now that I've done it, it's been like a day and a half.
Yeah. So I got to figure this out. So when I get to my cruise, I can get the results in time.
Yeah, plan it so that you have, and by the way, it has to be no more, like you said, no more than 3 days or 2 days, depending on
Right.
the place. So make sure you know that.
And the
then,
same thing with when we go to Maldives, if we even get there, they want it to be less than 3 days. And the problem is we're going to be traveling for almost 2 days.
oh,
So how do I get my results in a day?
well, the place that I went to in Mexico to get my test actually emailed me my results. So I had it on my phone to show
Yeah. Well, maybe
the
by
people.
then, like in March, it'll be easier to get or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
All right.
plan for it. Otherwise, you're going to spend a lot of money for same day results, and that's never fun.
All right. Van
Plan
Gogh.
ahead.
Jen
Van
sends me
Gogh.
pictures of Van Gogh.
Oh my God, it was
She's at the Van
so
Gogh
cool.
Museum or
I,
exhibit. And I'm thinking, why don't I get invited to any of these neat little things that Jen goes and does? How
I
did she
totally
find all this
forgot
stuff?
I had these tickets because I bought them I think in like December of last year, because it was one of those Facebook ad pushes that
Right.
was coming up with Van Gogh, blah, blah,
So
blah.
you succumbed to advertising.
I did. After all of it, I was like, that just looks awesome. I'm going to do it.
I'm going to have to click it.
I'm doing it. It's happening.
All right.
To
be honest with you, I probably wouldn't have gone to New York for Van Gogh. And I know Pat wouldn't have.
Well, and it's not like a Van Gogh museum. Like you're not going
it's
to
just an exhibit. Right.
Yeah. So it's actually, I think they call it an immersive experience where his paintings and his life's story actually comes to life. So it's in 3 different phases. The first phase, you kind of read about, his family and his relationship with his brother, a little bit about his craziness. And then you kind of see some of how that influences his art. The next stage is this enormous room. That's where I sent you the picture, that it's 4 walls. And I think 2 of the walls repeat each other, of his paintings, and it's moving and it's on the floor. And it's just like, if you were like on acid or weed,
you'd be having a real good time.
But I mean, just sober, it was really awesome. And it was maybe 20 minutes or so to see the whole sequence of things and all his art. And then the art kind of starts moving, and really cool. From there, you go into the third immersive experience, which is actually trying to be Van Gogh yourself, and you like color the stuff.
Really?
And I haven't colored with crayons and paper in I don't know how long, but it was kind of like fun and therapeutic and relaxing after like seeing all that cool stuff to like color it in. And then they had this machine that you put your paper under, and it Van Goghs your painting. And it made my painting, which I thought was, it wasn't anything special. It Van Gogh'd it, and it was all the colors I picked and everything, but it looked
Wow,
Like,
Jen, you're going to be an artist, right?
I'm going to be an artist. I'll send you that picture later so you can
Somebody
see.
was mentioning that they still occasionally color because they feel it's therapeutic.
It is therapeutic.
And
So I'm sending.
I was in a store maybe a week ago, and I walked into an aisle and there were crayons there, and I stood there and looked at the crayons, and I thought, I might have to buy a couple boxes of these, or Pat and I. And then they didn't have coloring books, so I thought, maybe next time.
Well, I personally totally dislike coloring with crayons. I don't like the waxy, clunky.
It's not a neat way to do art.
Yeah.
You know what's really neat is those things where you go and have wine and you learn how to paint.
Oh, I
with
did
watercolors.
that.
That's a neat thing to do.
That is.
I didn't think I would like it, but I actually liked it.
It was fun. And we did a big moon with like reflection on the water. It wasn't complicated.
I'll bet you did.
You got my photo? Did you see my
Did
Van
you
Gogh?
paint my ass or something?
Big moon. Oh man. Yes, I sent you the photo. That was really cool. It was probably like an hour of time or something like that. But it was like really interesting too, and sad. I didn't know. I knew Van Gogh was kind of right. It looks so good.
Jen sent me her photo. It's actually very good. This does not do it justice on the on the YouTube here because the colors are off on my phone. But anyway, that's really neat, Jen.
It is. So you put your paper that you colored and you take a picture, and it makes it somehow look better. I think it makes it look like paint strokes or something. But it was really cool.
I want to see the original paper.
Oh, I should have taken it. I should have
You should have taken a picture of that.
I don't feel it was as impressive, but it was,
exactly. I don't want them
if
to
you
see that
saw
one.
them. So I didn't know what the thing did. It's like a big box that with a red button. You put your paper, and I thought when you do it, it takes a picture or something. It did, but I thought it like takes a photo to print out. But what it does is when you press that red button, it projects your painting on a wall inside a frame, like you just saw. And I didn't know that. And I kept pushing the button, and I was like, what is it doing? And
That's
then I looked
neat.
up, and it was up on the wall. And I was like, I was like, did I paint it the exact color of Van Gogh's painting? And then I was like, wait, I think that's mine.
Sometimes people like me have to take a chance on things like this that they think, I have no interest, but because they do things like that make it worthwhile going. It's cool. You mentioned immersive theater. And if you remember about 2 years ago when we first started, or maybe it's how long we've been doing this, Jen? 3 years?
2 years.
Oh my God.
2 years.
When we first started, we were talking about one of the immersive theater events that you went to.
Yeah, Sleep No More.
Sleep No More. So I just did a quick search to see what they're doing today, if anything, now that COVID's a little under control, or it was. And New York does have several of these. But I want to try one.
I think you would really enjoy Sleep No More.
Sleep No More.
Yeah. I think if they're still doing it, you wear a mask, and they actually encourage you not to hang with your group, like split up and enjoy it yourself. And since you're wearing a mask, it's very like anonymous feeling and stuff like that.
So that's at the McKittrick Hotel. West 27th Street in New York City. And
Yeah,
I don't know
really
if they're
cool.
still doing it. So
And there
I'll
are people. So it's based on Macbeth, is the premise of the show you see, and all the different characters of Macbeth. So if you're familiar with the story, it helps you understand kind of what's going on. But
I'll get the Cliff Notes before I go.
yeah, but you can choose. You can choose like which character you want to follow that particular day. And there are people that have been there, I think 7 times, and each time they say it's totally different because they follow someone else. So my recommendation to you, my recommendation to you is like pick a character and just kind of follow them through their journey, versus what I did, which was, I thought it was like a escape room or something where you have to like figure stuff out. It's not. You just kind of are a spectator. And also, if you move from room to room without kind of like following the actor, then you lose the story of that particular character and you jump into another story. So
so they have another one that's done by the same hotel. It's called, this is not the same kind of, this is not like that kind of theater, but it's called Speakeasy Magic.
Oh,
and it's up close and personal hand magic in like a speakeasy environment, in like a bar type environment. So that looks like something Pat would probably really like.
yes. That sounds like something one of my coworkers probably used to do when he was a magician.
Yeah, he's the guy that you brought in, right?
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
can't remember his name.
Jeff.
Jeff. And I remember he
Yes.
did a trick with me, a card trick, and he
Uh-huh.
flubbed it a little bit on it because
Yeah.
he was supposed to put a folded card under my watch or something, and it sort of
Mhm.
fell out from under my watch
Yes.
before he was ready for
The
having me
reveal.
find it, right? And I gotta
Yes.
tell you, I don't remember him even putting it under my watch.
That's
I don't know how that happened. Yeah,
interesting
but I remember
part.
it falling out, so the just didn't go exactly the way he planned.
Yes, he's great. He's a retired magician. He only does it for friends and stuff, but a lot of his magician friends, I bet, perform at that place.
So who do
Speakeasy
you
Magic.
know, Jen, that would want to go to Speakeasy Magic?
Me, I'll go with you
Okay,
for sure.
all right, let's set that up.
Let's do it. Manuel's gone for 2 weeks. You want to go
that's
sometime
right.
soon? I'll be bored.
Wow. We should do that. Let's maybe. I can't do it this weekend. Is he gone next weekend?
Mm-hmm. He comes back the 20th.
So let's see if we can do it next weekend.
Deal. Let's do it. Okay.
We're going to
I'm in.
Pennsylvania this weekend.
Okay.
So what's the next topic,
Easy
Jen?
magic.
Oh, speaking of which, I want to. That one thing wasn't on here. So my dog. Nobody's
Uh-oh.
going to care about my dog, but I got to tell.
I care about your dog. They howl on the show sometimes.
I have a 7-year-old beagle, Josie, and I have a 3-year-old Jack Russell. Tango.
You had another dog named Rosie, right? Did you
Yes.
name Josie to rhyme with Rosie, or
Rosie
That's-
was my first beagle, and we had to put her to sleep when she was about 13 because she had back and heart issues.
Mm.
She couldn't stand anymore on her hind legs, and I didn't want to put her in some wheelchair thing. It just wasn't fair to her. And
Yeah.
she couldn't hold her pee anymore either. So
I think that's what's going on with tequila, by the way. I mean, he
Oh,
can still
man.
hold it kind of, but his legs are so weak that if he,
That's so sad.
yeah.
How
But
old
he's
is he?
14. He's 14.
Oh yeah, that's pretty old, Jen.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Rosie, that was the only dog that I've ever had this real connection with, where she would just look at me like, and I can't explain it. It's she
You were
like
talking
knew what I was
dog,
thinking.
she
or
was
something.
talking
yeah,
human.
like telepathically, she would talk to me. Anyway, so when we went looking for another dog, I wanted another beagle because I just wanted something like Rosie.
Yeah.
So there was a green puppies or something, Greenfield puppies online. There was a litter of puppies in Pennsylvania, and one of them was the name Josie.
Mhm.
So I thought, Josie, is this a sign from my
Rosie?
now deceased dog Rosie that I should be getting this dog Josie? So we went out to go look at her, and the little girls that were living in the house said, "Oh, my mom renamed them recently. Her original name, we had named her Rosie."
No.
Oh my God.
What the-
I have
to buy
that
her
dog.
now. Yeah.
And that dog, she's totally different personality, but
Oh,
she's still
really?
a beagle, but she howls and screams when she sees you come home.
And beagles
And
have like this weird bark sound,
It's
like,
more
from
a
their
howl,
belly.
like a
Yeah.
scream. But
Yeah.
Rosie never did that. But Josie does. And Josie's got the same back problems that Rosie did, because
How
it's
old is
common in the beagle
Josie now?
family.
7?
7. So, but she's not as bad as what Rosie was. Although
okay.
Rosie didn't get problems until she was about 11, and then she lasted another 3 years, and Josie's only 7.
Mm.
But she started to have a leg problem about a month ago, maybe longer. But it goes before then, maybe 2 weeks before that. Pat came home and had let her outside, and he said she started screaming. And he didn't know if it was, at first he thought it was her howling that she was home, but she was screaming in pain. So he took her
Oh,
to the vet,
no.
got her a bunch of drugs to anti-inflammatories and painkillers. And then 2 weeks later, I noticed that she was sort of limping on the left rear leg. So
Man.
I don't know the whole time frame, but anyway, they thought that it was her back causing this problem. So they put her back on anti-inflammatories.
Oh, they think it's like a nerve or something
Yeah,
that's making her leg.
But then she was taking a run to jump on the sofa, and she didn't quite get high enough, and she rammed her leg into the sofa, and she let out a howl, and then she was holding her leg all the way up, and it was just kind of dangling there. I thought, this can't be the back. This has got to be something else. And I took her to my old vet, Hopewell Veterinarian Group, and they said they thought it was her muscular tendon issue, not her back. So they put her to sleep today, and she tore her ACL, which is
oh man, in a human, that's really hard
for
to
dogs.
heal.
It's actually called a CCL or something like that. And so they said it would be $1,800 to give her the surgery to try and correct it. And they said most of the time that if you keep the dog caged for anywhere from 6 weeks to 4 months, and control their movement and not let them jump and run, it will heal well. So that's what we did. She came home today with her after a surgery. I got to keep her caged for quite a while.
So she can't go on walks. She has to walk very slowly.
To go to the bathroom. She can start to take walks in a couple of weeks to exercise her leg and get her moving, but we cannot let her run or jump.
Oof. Is she a jumper?
Hard for a dog. Yeah. She wants to jump on the furniture all the time.
Yeah.
So we can't let her loose in the living room. And even if I lift her up and put her on the sofa to lay next to me, if the doorbell rings or something, or there's headlights at the end of our street or something, she wants to jump up and go check it out. So it's
man. Yeah. So it's better to keep her, I guess,
locked,
confined. Yeah.
At least until she seems to be getting around okay. And then we still have to be very careful for about 4 months at least.
Something happened. Nothing that bad happened to Tequila, but one day when he was coming back in the house to get from our backyard into like the sunroom area, there's like a little step, not a huge step, but a little step on the landing. And I guess he didn't calculate his stride, or he jumped a little late, or something happened where his front paw caught the step, and he just kind of like fell forward and landed on his like face almost, right?
Oh,
he face planted, and he, same as Josie, like screamed and nonstop, like crying, and with his paw just like up, and it was up for 2 days, but then he was fine again. So it was like he really messed up his elbow. I don't know what he did.
Oh my God,
he hit his funny bone.
Go to the veterinarian and get it checked out.
I know. Well, I was like, he's walking and stuff.
I hope he's fine.
He just walk it out.
That's what we were telling Josie actually when we thought it was something that she would be healed from. We would tell her walk it out, and once she was up and walking, she would put her paw back down until she rammed it against the sofa. We think that she probably began to tear it when she made the initial yelp, whatever that was. And then they said she ripped the entire thing.
Oh, gosh.
And that's probably what happened when she rammed it against the sofa.
So is she asleep now? What's her situation?
They gave her painkillers and additional anti-inflammatory. So she's laying her cage and she's out of it. You can tell.
Oh, man. Poor thing. I hope she gets better.
Yeah. It's 8:23, Jen. What else we got on our topic?
The last thing, the breaking news that I heard, I think earlier this morning, I don't know much details. I was actually reading some of the conclusions of the Attorney General's report, is what happened to the governor of New York,
Mario Cuomo. So Mario Cuomo was the guy that was loving the TV back when he was doing things like converting the Jacob Javits Center to a hospital, a temporary hospital for people that were going to have COVID and we need respirators, and he was getting all the respirators that he would need. He never had to use the Javits Center.
He was always like really calm.
Yes,
he was very clear, organized.
And then he would come on to CNN to talk to his brother, which I like.
Oh yeah,
Chris Cuomo.
Chris Cuomo,
good-looking guy.
He's all right.
He had some videos online that looked pretty good at his boat and stuff.
With his shirt off, he has a good body.
Yeah. So anyway, they used to sort of knock each other like brothers do, kidding around and stuff. And as Chris Cuomo had said to him, like, when are you going to announce that you're running for president? And I thought that Mario Cuomo would probably have a good shot at being the next Democratic nominee until all this came out. Like, I didn't know that he was this sexual,
I don't know
what he was doing.
He's a miscreant. Is that the right word? He's not really like, the things that I read were definitely wrong. Yes. But it wasn't
like sexual molestation.
It wasn't like raping
people, right?
Yeah, it wasn't rape, but it was molestation. Yeah.
Right. So he was doing things like, there was even a female state police officer who he rubbed his hand against her body in a certain way. I don't recall how.
Like from her belly button to her hip. That's kind of a very private part of a woman's body to touch.
By somebody else. Then so all these 11 accounts or whatever were corroborated or witnessed by other people. So he finally succumbed to the pressure and announced he would be gone in, I think it was 2 weeks. And he gave
his 2 weeks notice. And now I think this is going to be the first governor that's
first female governor of New York. Yeah. I forget her name.
Do you know anything about her as far as like what she stands for? Oh.
They said that she's I think I read that she's not a conservative, but a moderate, I guess is the right term.
Well, I was just
not ultra liberal, but in the middle.
In the middle. That's good.
Yeah.
Extremes of anything are they're kind of the whatever.
Right.
But
yeah,
I think with Cuomo, what I really like is a couple things. One, it seems like they did a good job of investigating and not just automatically accusing him of being guilty. They said there are these accusations, do business as usual while we investigate. I think also, it's good that Biden was saying, let's see what the investigation yields. And if they prove to be true, then I think he should resign. But I withhold judgment until then. And then the result comes out and then he's like, he should resign. Yeah. Which is how it should be. Yeah. I mean, I feel bad for men that are automatically accused of being guilty before they have their chance to say their piece. I don't know how this particular investigation reflects Cuomo's side of the story at all.
But if you have 11 women who are saying that he gave unwanted physical advances, that's inappropriate. That's
unwanted is it's personal. So I think whether he wanted to or he thought it was requested or whatever, it wasn't.
And that would be his side of the story, probably, that he would try and say. But
that she flirts with me or whatever. Yeah. So I think that this investigation really dug deep and had a lot of corroborating witnesses to put him in places. And so it's like his story doesn't matter because there are two or more witnesses to his actions that all say the same thing.
And was kind of surprised that the attorney general didn't press charges. It's like, isn't that something they're supposed to do? And they said that they would not be taking any further action. So she specifically said, the woman, I forget her name, the
attorney general. Yep. I forget.
She's the one that's going after Trump too. But anyway, she said that they'll let the cards fall where they will, or something like that, which to me said they're going to wait to see if he resigns, or the legislatures or whatever it's called would have to impeach him.
So what happens in this particular case where he resigns? He's not impeached. He's not a felon. Like, is he able to run for office again?
He may still face criminal charges, but I'm not sure who's going to file those. Is it going to be the 11 people, or what? Where's that going to come from? Because apparently it's not coming from the attorney general.
Yeah, they just kind of like, here's what we found.
Right.
But there doesn't seem to be any ramifications except shame on Cuomo.
And now they said that there's a rumor that he might pardon himself, just like Trump
was saying.
suspected, right?
So what would I
Right.
do?
But apparently there were several governors that have done that in the past.
That seems, I mean, if you pardon yourself, you're admitting guilt, right? So that
Are
in
you?
and of its, yeah.
Or you just want to be done with all the BS?
No, pardoning means you admit you.
Actually, you're right, because I remember when we were researching this for Trump.
Yeah.
there's
That
a
means
certain
you have to
element
admit
of
guilt.
it, right? That you're admitting.
Yeah. So pardon is not necessarily a good thing, by the way.
Yeah. Jen, we're out of time. Where did the
Out
hour
of
go, Jen?
time, man. Well,
See you
COVID,
next
Van
time.
Gogh, all the things.
We'll see Sandy
Super
maybe next
spreader
week.
events.
Bye, Sandy. See you, everybody.
Bye.